Welcome to this in-depth exploration of Venezuela, a country of immense natural beauty, rich culture, and complex history. From the mighty peaks of the Andes to the vast Amazon jungle, Venezuela is a land of contrasts, boasting the world's largest oil reserves while facing an ongoing economic crisis. In this deep dive, we will explore Venezuela's history, its vibrant culture, political landscape, and current events shaping the nation today. Let's begin. Pre-colonial era. Before the arrival of European explorers, Venezuela was home to numerous indigenous civilizations, including the Arawak and Carib peoples. These groups thrived in various ecosystems, from the coastal regions to the dense Amazon rainforest. They developed advanced farming techniques, intricate social structures, and rich oral traditions. Spanish colonization, 1498-1811. In 1498, Christopher Columbus became the first European to set foot on Venezuelan soil. Soon after, Spanish colonization began, leading to the establishment of settlements like Caracas in 1567. During this period, the Spanish exploited indigenous labor and later brought enslaved Africans to work on sugarcane and cocoa plantations. The colonial era was marked by oppression, but it also set the stage for future revolutions. The fight for independence, 1811-1830, inspired by the American and French revolutions, Venezuelan revolutionaries, led by Simón Bolívar, fought for independence from Spain. After years of intense battles, Venezuela officially became an independent nation in 1830. Bolívar, now revered as El Libertador, remains a national hero, with his legacy shaping Venezuela's identity. The 19th and 20th centuries, instability and oil wealth following independence, Venezuela experienced decades of political turmoil, ruled by a series of military strongmen known as caudillos. The discovery of oil in the early 20th century transformed Venezuela into one of Latin America's wealthiest nations, attracting foreign investment and fueling rapid modernization. By the 1950s, Venezuela was a global economic powerhouse thanks to its vast petroleum resources. However, wealth inequality persisted, and political corruption became rampant. Music and dance, Venezuelan culture, is deeply rooted in its African, Indigenous, and Spanish influences. Traditional music styles like joropo, Venezuela's national dance, are celebrated nationwide. Meanwhile, modern reggaeton and salsa dominate urban areas. Venezuelan cuisine reflects its diverse heritage. Some iconic dishes include 1. Arepas, cornmeal patties stuffed with meat, cheese, or beans. 2. Pabellón criollo, Venezuela's national dish, featuring rice, black beans, shredded beef, and fried plantains. Hallacas, similar to tamales, typically eaten during Christmas. Festivals and traditions. Venezuela is known for its vibrant festivals, such as 1. Carnaval de El Callao, a colorful celebration blending Afro-Caribbean traditions. 2. Dia de la Virgen de Chiquinquirá, honoring Venezuela's patron saint. 3. Maria Leonsa rituals, a mystical practice blending Catholicism, African spirituality, and indigenous beliefs. Despite economic hardships, Venezuelans continue to celebrate their culture with pride. The oil boom, 1920s, 1980s, Venezuela was once among the richest nations in Latin America, thanks to its massive oil industry. By the 1970s, the country had one of the highest GDPs per capita in the region. The government implemented ambitious social programs, and Caracas flourished as a modern metropolis. The economic decline, 1990s, present. However, over-reliance on oil made Venezuela vulnerable to price fluctuations. By the late 1990s, corruption and economic mismanagement led to financial crises. This paved the way for Hugo Chavez, who promised socialist reforms to uplift the poor. Hugo Chavez and the Bolivarian Revolution, 1999-2013, Chávez introduced radical socialist policies, nationalized industries, and increased welfare programs. His leadership was polarizing. Some saw him as a champion of the poor, while others viewed him as an authoritarian leader who weakened Venezuela's democracy. During his presidency, oil revenue funded massive social programs, but government spending became unsustainable. When oil prices dropped, Venezuela's economy collapsed. The Maduro presidency and economic collapse, 2013, present. After Chávez's death in 2013, Nicolás Maduro took power. His presidency has been marked by hyperinflation, food shortages, and mass migration. Millions of Venezuelans have fled to neighboring countries seeking better opportunities. Despite economic hardships, Maduro has remained in power, backed by the military and allied nations like Russia and China. The 2024 presidential election controversy, Maduro's third term, remains highly contested. Many international organizations and opposition groups accuse the government of election fraud and human rights abuses. The political opposition, led by figures like Maria Corina Machado, continues to challenge Maduro's authority. U.S.-Venezuela relations. The relationship between the U.S. and Venezuela remains tense. Washington has imposed sanctions, while Venezuela has deepened ties with Russia, China, and Iran. Oil industry recovery. Recently, Venezuela has attempted to revive its oil industry by inviting foreign investment. However, economic recovery remains uncertain due to government mismanagement and lack of trust from international investors. The humanitarian crisis. The situation for everyday Venezuelans remains dire. 1. Over 7 million people have fled the country. 2. Hyperinflation continues to erode wages. 3. The healthcare system is in crisis, with medicine shortages persisting. However, grassroots movements and NGOs continue to provide aid to those in need. Venezuela stands at a crossroads. Will the country regain stability, or will economic and political turmoil continue? Possible scenarios include 1. Gradual reform. If Venezuela enacts economic and political reforms, international investment may return. 2. Continued crisis. If Maduro tightens his grip on power, Venezuela may face further isolation and decline. 3. Regime change. Growing opposition movements could lead to a shift in leadership. Only time will tell what the future holds. Venezuela's story is one of resilience, struggle, and hope. Despite political turmoil and economic hardship, Venezuelans remain proud of their heritage. From the towering Angel Falls to the streets of Caracas, this country's spirit endures. As Venezuela continues to navigate challenges, the world watches closely. What happens next will shape not only the nation, but the entire region. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Venezuela. If you found this video informative, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. What do you think Venezuela's future will look like?